Hello everyone, this is Alan with your movie review for today, and today I'm going to take a look at the Stanley Kubrick sci-fi classic from 1968, 2001, A Space Odyssey. Now, when I first watched 2001, A Space Odyssey, I gotta tell you, the very first time I watched 2001, I reacted to it the same way that a whole lot of other people reacted to it the very first time they saw 2001. My reaction to the film, the first time around, was, what? What? Huh? What's going on here? Huh? Okay, there's these cave people, and now there's this big black rectangle thingy that's going ee, and now the guy throws the bone, and now it's a spaceship, and okay, now we got these astronauts going to the moon, and there's this other big black rectangle thingy also going ee, and now the astronauts are going ee. And now we see these two astronauts going to Jupiter, and there's this computer that goes a little funny and attacks one of the astronauts, and the other astronaut tries to save him, but he can't, and now he's going to Jupiter, and he goes through this big laser light show thingy that's really cool to look at, and now he's in this room, this really immaculate room, and now he's getting older, and then he dies, and then he becomes a baby. The end. What? What? But you know, something about this movie made me want to go back to it. I think the one thread running through the whole 2001 movie that still kept me in its grip, despite the fact that I didn't know what the bleep was going on, is that the movie looks spectacular. I mean, visually, this movie isn't just a movie, it's a work of art. What Stanley Kubrick did. I mean, the visuals here are just spectacular. His photography on the film, spectacular. I mean, I could watch this movie all day with the sound off, just looking at the whole thing. It's amazing. And the visual effects for 1968, you know, I mean, prior to what George Lucas would do 9 years later with Star Wars, but I mean, the special effects, way ahead of their time. And I'm just talking about the visuals, folks, just the visuals. Even though I didn't know what the hell was going on in the story. Did this movie even have a story? I don't know, but you know, something about this movie made me want to go back to it, and the more I watched it, the more I got out of it. And then I took the extra step, I did some research, and I also read Roger Ebert's review of 2001: A Space Odyssey, in which he actually breaks it down for you what it all means. And by the way, Roger, God bless you, sir. I get it now. Thanks to what Roger Ebert wrote about 2001, I get it. I watch the movie now, and I know what it means. To make a long story short, what exactly is 2001: A Space Odyssey about? Well, basically, Stanley Kubrick, working in tandem with that very talented author of sci-fi, Arthur C. Clarke. The plot of the movie, if you even want to call it a plot, is that it's about the evolution of man, or human beings, with the aid of unseen aliens. That, in a nutshell, is what 2001: A Space Odyssey is about. The evolution of man with the aid of unseen aliens. We don't ever see them. We hear them. You know, that ee. We know that they're there, but we don't ever see them. And by the way, what the hell is that black monolith thingy all about? The monolith serves as a calling card, the aliens' calling card to the human race. And the monolith also serves as a marker in every single level of the human race's evolution, because we first see the monolith with the cave people, which is basically the aliens' way of saying, hi, we're here, and we're going to help you evolve. Then the next time we see the monolith, it's on the moon, when the human race finally evolves and is finally able to leave planet Earth and go to the moon. And then the next time we see the monolith is at Jupiter, when Captain David Bowman is about to go through that Stargate and evolve to the next level of existence, higher than himself. And that basically culminates in him aging very quickly, dying, and being reborn as the Star Child at the very end of the movie. So basically, that's what the film is about. So you see, 2001 is not your typical science fiction movie. This is not a shoot-'em-upper. There's no space battles. There's no laser guns. There's no... None of that stuff. None of that Star Wars stuff. No, this is science fiction for the mind. This is science fiction food for thought kind of stuff. And it's so terrific to look at, and it's just so engrossing, even though the characters are very, very blah. I mean, David Bowman and his fellow astronaut Frank Poole, they're both pretty blah, dull characters, and it's nothing against the actors. I think that's basically how Stanley Kubrick directed them to play these two guys, that they're just dull. I mean, the real star of the show in that portion of the movie, of course, is the HAL 9000 computer. Dave, I really think you should take a stress pill and think things over. Who doesn't like Hal? He's classic. But Hal is basically the star of that portion of the film. But I think the point of the movie is not... The main feature of the film is not the acting. The main feature of the film is the look and the journey and just the thoughts and the ideas behind it, the imagination behind it, and basically the journey that Stanley Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke take us on regarding the evolution of man with the aid of unseen aliens. And by the way, the unseen aliens, when David Bowman enters that big glossy room after he goes through the Stargate laser show sequence, yeah, those voices are apparently the aliens looking at their human specimen and commenting on him. Apparently that's the meaning of that particular moment in the film. But, you know, I could go on and on and on about 2001: A Space Odyssey, but just to sum it up, I absolutely love and adore this film, and 2001: A Space Odyssey is my personal pick for the very best science fiction movie ever made. There's lots of classic sci-fi films. If you want to go all the way back to 1927, Metropolis, that Fritz Lang made, all-time classic sci-fi flick. Forbidden Planet, classic. And, of course, the original Star Wars from 1977. And sure, we'll throw in The Empire Strikes Back from 1980. Return of the Jedi, but the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, classic as well. But I really do think 2001: A Space Odyssey, I mean, Stanley Kubrick, he's the king. He made the all-time greatest sci-fi film. I get something out of this movie every single time I watch it. I get something brand new out of it every single time I watch it. I never get bored watching it. I'm always enthralled by the whole thing. And by the way, although watching 2001 at home on DVD is fine, if that's the only way you can watch it. If you have a great home theater system to watch it on, that's great too. But the best way to experience 2001: A Space Odyssey is in a movie theater. And I'm very happy to say that 2001 does make regular appearances at repertory movie houses. If you can see 2001 in the biggest movie theater with the best sound system that you can possibly see it in, it's like no other movie experience you will ever have in your life. I mean, you will come out of the theater a changed person. I really do think you will. I was lucky enough to see 2001 on the big screen many years ago in a big, huge mother movie house in Northern California with a fantastic sound system, and it blew my mind. Yes, it did. That's how good this movie is, and that's how especially phenomenal this movie is if you can watch it on the big screen. It's a very special film, best sci-fi film ever made, in my opinion, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. And I think I've said all that needs to be said about 2001. I think I've pretty much covered all the bases. Highly recommend it. Go see it, rent it, buy it, and be amazed by Stanley Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke's sci-fi masterwork, 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's it. I'm Alan. Thanks for watching. See you later.